Let me know when I'm on, Ashley.
We are on.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's not a Monday, it's a Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a great day and we're able to celebrate Veterans Day yesterday. With your fellow veterans, family, friends, neighbors. So happy belated Veterans Day to all. I'll do call to order 7:01.
President Valerie Reinballer.
Here.
Vice President Ingrid Patillo.
Here.
Councilmember Matt Castiglia.
Here.
Councilmember Shirley Blair Fuller. She's on mine and we promoted her, but she hasn't accepted yet. Councilmember Deb Cassini Klein. Here. Councilmember Greg Bogdanovich.
Here.
And Councilmember Brooke Burchett Williams.
Here.
And Mayor Paul Gamrat.
Here.
Great, and now we will stand if we can for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. And we will start with. Oh, yes. I just wanted to say we did have an executive session right before this regarding litigation matters. And then we'll move on to our public comment section. You have 3 minutes to speak. If you would like to speak, please, we'll start with the room first. Please come up to the podium, state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Wendy Lamica. I live at 3817 Burnaby Drive. I'm a happy 20-year resident of the borough. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, Borough Manager, and members of council. The reason I'm here is really to explore a question about any expiration dates on political signs in yards. Do we have any policy with regard to this about when they need to come down? I asked this specifically because my next door neighbor has signs from 2016, 2020, and the most recent election. He has figurines in his window, he has flags in his yard, and yard signs. I'm not on the same political side as he, but even if I were on a different side, I still, in this beautiful community, would not prefer to see flags, figurines, and yard signs all these many years after the election has been concluded. Therefore, I think there's a fine line between what is free speech and what is unwarranted political propaganda. And I think this leans on the side of political propaganda. And I ask the question, why do I have to look at this every single time I leave my driveway and drive down the street and come back home? And so I'd like to understand from this council, do we have an expiration date on political signage in yards? And is it enforced? And if we do not have one, what would be the process for putting one in place? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There is a fine.
So I usually don't like respond to comments. We usually don't.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as to what the.
So as a general rule, we do not get involved at all with political signage on private property.
Yeah.
It's extremely highly protected under federal law, the free speech. If we would try to enact ordinances and enforce them, we would most surely be sued by one side or the other, depending on, unfortunately, which political signs are being requested to be removed. So while there are some municipalities that attempt to legislate content neutral temporary sign regulations, I will tell you that as a general rule, it's extremely risky. To get into the legalities, I wouldn't want to do that in a public meeting,
Yeah.
but certainly if that's something the council wanted to explore, I would just say you'd have to walk very, very carefully, and there's a lot of risk involved there. But it's a question that's coming up, obviously, not just in Borough Churchill, but you know, across Western Pennsylvania and I'm sure across the country. So we're very aware of these concerns.
So Gavin, outside of political signs, What about signs related to advertisements? I thought that there was some type of regulation.
They're not allowed.
Yeah, so we do have regulations regarding limitations on commercial advertising signs, lesser, protected to a lesser degree than political or religious signage, speech. So yeah, again, though, it's the law of sign regulations right now in this country, because it came from the most recent really major decision. It's called Gilbert, and it came maybe in sometime in the early teens. And it's like a 72-page opinion, and not everyone agrees on what the holding was, but the bottom line is that when we're regulating signs, all your regulations technically are supposed to be completely content neutral. So there's kind of ways that with the Borough of Churchill enacted its current sign ordinance post Gilbert, we did the best we could. But I will tell you, it's a very dynamic area of the law, very very complicated. And so we do have regulations on the books regarding temporary signs, commercial signs, certainly, off-site commercial signs. For instance, if you're advertising someone else's business on your property, we do have restrictions there, but we're just really careful how we enforce those. And again, if there's something specific, we can definitely look into that for council, but it's probably going to involve a legal opinion kind of offline.
Great. Thank you very much. Any other comments in the room? We'll move online. If you would like to speak, please raise your virtual hand and we will move you to panelist. You have 3 minutes and please state your name and your address. We have one person. Okay, please. Great. And hi, Ken. Can you hear us?
Hi, can you hear me? Oh, here we go. Can you hear me okay?
Ken, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Let me see here. Show that I'm unmuted.
Ken, it looks like you're muted. Are you there?
No,
There we
yeah, I'm here. Let me try something here.
There you go. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, name's Ken Balke, live at 2007 Hampstead Drive. And I chair the tree committee for the Borough of Churchill. And while I'm reporting on a tree planting, I'm actually reporting more from a community event. We had a very successful tree planting this past Saturday at the Churchill Valley Greenway. We had about 24 volunteers show up, many of them from the borough, included about 4 families, and the age range of volunteers probably ranged from age 7 to 70 plus, with everybody in between. And we ended up planting 200 trees underneath Saybrook Road on the Allegheny Land Trust property. And the reason I bring it up is that the mayor Gamera participated as well, and it gave us a chance to meet several new residents, some who've been here, but there were residents the first time we've seen them at any type of event like this, which was very quite uplifting. And so anyhow, but the only reason I'm bringing this report again, on Monday, we got a message from the Allegheny Land Trust field coordinator, Danny Kramer, that they're planning to clear a trail above where we planted the trees, again under Saybrook Road. But here we found out there's still 100 more trees to be still put in the ground. So they're asking those of us who were there Saturday to come back. If anybody wants to help or get the word out, let us know. So just letting you know, we had an event, but now there's another one this coming Saturday as well. And it's a nice chance to meet people from throughout the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Appreciate all the work you do.
Did he provide a time?
Yeah, 9 AM.
9 to 12.
Maybe we could promote that on Saturday.
Any other comments online? See, right now there are 3 people online. You wanna talk about it?
No.
Okay. All right, we will close public comments. And we will move on to our items to be accepted by motion.
Madam President, motion to approve the meeting minutes from the October 7th, 2024 council workshop meeting and the October 15th, 2024 regular council meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. And Mr. Mayor, your turn for your report.
Thank you, Madam President. The chief reported to me that, in the month of July,
You must behind, Mayor.
I did it again.
You did
Looking at the wrong one.
I wish it was still July. It's kind of cold out today. Dark. Dark.
And the chief has reported to me in the month of October, there were no significant incidents in the month, I'm sorry. There were no significant incidents in the month of October 2024. Our officers handled a total of 917 events for the month, 9,493 year to date, consisting of calls of service and proactive patrol, engagements and details affecting 3 arrests. With the department's 5 police vehicles logged a total of 5,265 miles. The combined year to date total is 46,945. The ticket summary for the month of October 2024 was 74, 0 non-traffic, 12 parking, and 62 traffic tickets. The magisterial fines for October 24 were $1,039.14. It's $7,800.20 year to date. Chief Ackerley has announced that this year, as in past several years, the Churchill Police Department will be participating in 2 local toy drive events that celebrate the Christmas season. They are the 2024 Stuff a Store, in which police officers from Allegheny County, the state, the sheriff department, and the city of Pittsburgh come together to stuff a store for children in need. It was established by the Western Pennsylvania Police Association and has been operational for nearly 30 years. The event was organized by former police officer Jimmy Sevick, who passed away in 2019. The 2024 Blue Santa is the 6th year, is hosted by Toys for Pittsburgh Heights, created by David Sohe, owner and proprietor of Jaden's Catering and Banquets in Monroeville. It was established to provide support for our public safety personnel, allowing them to get toys into the hands of children and youth, in the hands of children and youth, change the child's attitude and create a positive interaction that will define the child's attitude towards officers. Both events are aimed at giving back to the communities that law enforcement proudly serve by providing toys to the less fortunate children. These events have truly made an impact on the lives of many families over the years. Churchill has proudly participated since its inception. There are many businesses and locations throughout the region where you can find donation boxes for these events. One of the boxes is located in our own Churchill Borough Book. Please help support this event. The chief and the police department officers, along with borough officials, wish everyone a very safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday. Please drive carefully. Details and other related statistics concerning the police department during the month of October 24 are reported on the attached police department report.
Thank you so much.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the mayor's report for November 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Moving on to our treasurer's report.
Madam President, motion to accept the treasurer's report for October 31st, 2024, and directing the finance officer to pay the bill for the borough of Churchill accrued since October 14th, 2024.
Second.
As normal, I will read all the bills just so we can kind of get a feel for what we're paying here. So Alcazan, $201,000, $309, $200,001. A day, Mayor. Yeah.
Expected to have.
You did that. $201,390.73. Robinson Asphalt Paving, $62,908.94. Gateway, $35,093.75. Professional government underwriters of PA, $34,438. Churchill Volunteer Fire Company, $32,000. MRM Property and Liability Renewal Insurance, $26,741. Bigliotti, $25,527.50. Solai Construction, which is for the sanitary sewer, $16,283.91. WEMS, $15,000, its contribution $15,000, and Jet Jack for the Nottingham Drive sewer backup was $5,928.
I will say I do enjoy the specifics on each line item afterwards of what that was used for that specific month. So, thank you.
Especially like the jet, like Jet Jack.
The Jack Jack, yeah, like what is
Yeah.
Jet Jack? That's the Nottingham Drive,
Yes.
Drive sewer backup. That's great, thank you.
Just for anyone that might not know, Woodland, WENS is Woodland Hill, EMS.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Moving on to our action item.
Madam President, motion to adopt resolution 4615 for Churchill, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing a 4-year collective bargaining agreement with the Churchill Borough Police Association.
Second.
Any discussion?
Are we able to discuss any of the details related to the collective bargaining? Or is that something that is executive session?
That would normally be executive session. Only once it's approved, certainly it becomes generally a public document.
Any discussion?
I'll just add that, I know in the past this is drug out, so I appreciate council. I know this process was started a while ago, but getting that moving quickly so that we didn't have a contract expire before we were able to get the next one finalized. I think that is value to our, employees and the public safety professionals that work hard for the borough, and, excellent work. So to the folks that worked on that, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is this, roll call vote or is it all in favor? Great. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Moving on to our other action items.
Madam President, motion to direct the borough manager to advise a public notice of availability to review the Churchill Borough 2025 general fund budget in the Valley Mirror newspaper.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Just a note, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
That, this is not the final budget. We have to advertise, according to the borough code prior, so final budget will be voted on at the last regular meeting December 9th.
Then open house.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next action item, number 8.
Madam President, motion to advertise ordinance 776, setting the 2025 real estate tax rate.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did want to just point out the way that this is going to be advertised, just so you don't have to make a decision on the spot, tonight, is that it will be, so the way it will work at the December 9th meeting is council will first vote by motion to adopt the budget. Then the next item will be to adopt an ordinance setting the tax rate at whatever it is that you vote to match your budget. So it's been advertised as not to exceed 1.5 mils increase, but you're not locked into anything, any particular increase at this point. You just can't go above
1.5, right. We did that a couple of years ago, the same exact way. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that, Gavin.
Sure.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Moving on to number 9.
Madam President, motion to advertise ordinance 777, amending section 246-56 of the Churchill Code to establish the 2025 sanitary sewage usage surcharge fee.
Second.
Any discussion?
Similar to the other item, this has been advertised as a not to exceed increase from $8.50 up to $11.50. And that would again be the decision made at the time of the bid.
And just for further clarification, that's, per 1,000 gallons of water used, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So not, you know, we're not jumping some huge fee, it's on, yeah.
Right.
No, and I think it would be helpful to put some, like, average numbers for how this would impact our community, like the average user. Just so people have a clearer picture. Sometimes it's hard to conceptualize, like, what does 8.5, what does 11 mean? What does that mean to me?
Tomorrow, there will be a budget open house.
Yes.
So in that presentation, there is explanation and breaking down,
Right.
This could be per week, this is your monthly, this is overall yearly.
Great. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Moving on to number 10.
Motion to approve the land development application filed by the Woodland Hills High School District for the high school multi-purpose athletic field conversion, conditions on the following. Comply with the Borough Engineer's review letter dated November 6th of 2024. Maintain existing trees to the extent practical on the Greensburg Pike side of the property and plant additional trees on the Greensburg Pike side of the property in any amount equal to the number of trees that are removed, with said trees to be of similar type, species as the trees that are removed.
Second?
Any discussion?
I would just say that the planning commission really, I think, did a nice job of, vetting that plan and adding these additional conditions that, obviously the borough engineer put together a detailed review letter, which is always important, but there was a lot of discussion at the planning commission, meeting last week. And the school district was very cooperative and willing to work with the borough to address, especially the tree component of it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it carries. Moving on to number 11.
Madam President, I motion to consent to the Tri-Cog Land Bank's acquisition of 2290 William Penn Highway, Pittsburgh, PA 15235, lot and block number 297-L-332.
There a second? Second. Any discussion?
I'm just gonna keep on chiming in because.
Please do.
Yeah, so the land bank has a process by which they acquire these properties. If the borough council wants to allow them to waive the 60-day waiting period, that's what this motion will accomplish. If the borough did not want the land bank to acquire this property, that would be the alternative to notify the land bank that we do not want to acquire the property. So we're just, with these two next, this motion and the next, we're sort of streamlining the process.
So I do have a question. This was not on the agenda for the workshop meeting. Has there been any discussion with the COG regarding what the plan is with these two properties? I know through the COG, they have arena light option or a renovation required option, which basically means that they acquire the property and leave it as is, versus doing some renovation and getting it market ready. So what is the plan? And I'll stop there.
Sure. I'm not sure formally what their plan was, but I can follow up. I believe it was a renovation. There has been, a backlog of unpaid county taxes, local taxes for several years in regards to the property, and also some issues that we've had with property safety that Scott has addressed with these two properties. So, in their investigation, they, found all of that out, I guess, and, I believe it was a renovation.
I'm not sure. I don't know that they've identified, if they notified us specifically of what the plan is in the letter that they sent to, the borough manager.
I'm more than happy to reach out to Natalie and find the information out.
Thank you. So I guess what I'm asking is, until we have a clear picture of what is going to happen with the property, I would like to make a motion to table this until next month. Being that we have some time to respond to them.
And the objection deadline is December 28th. So there's a motion to table. We need a second, that motion to table if folks want to consider waiting on this.
Is there a second on that?
I only hesitate because I know I know COG.
Yeah.
And they've done really, really good work.
Yeah.
If it was a random investor, yes, you know, but they have done really good work, and working with Natalie in the past, it has truly been beneficial to our community, so.
I would further comment that, I don't know about y'all, but I get lots of phone calls about people that want to buy my property, you know, like out of the blue, right? Like, they just call you and they're like, hey, we want to buy your house, you know, my house is for sale. If these were viable properties to be acquired by other investors, right, if it was financially viable, they probably would have already done so. The reason the land bank can work on that is they can then work to get some of those lienable assets and other things taken off, to then make it a viable property to transition and get back on the tax rolls. So I think, you know, that's another reason to work with the land bank.
I'm not suggesting not working with the land bank. What I'm suggesting is get more clarification on what they plan to do. As far as developers being interested in these properties, you know, I can't speak to that. I can only speak to what's going on right now. And we need to have a clear understanding of what the next steps are gonna look like.
Well, I didn't hear a second, so I think there's gonna be back to the main motion.
This is Cheryl. I'm in agreement with Brooke. I think we need to table it. You said it doesn't need to be heard until December after our workshop of next month. I would like to have more information as well as to both of the properties, so I can look into it a little bit more. I can't make a vote off of something that I don't know anything much about. So I'd like to hear a little bit more on this because it was not at the workshop last week. Thank you.
So we'll consider that a second and then have a motion on the, vote on the motion to table.
Yeah.
Any,
Additional discussion.
any discussion on that second one?
Yeah, well, and why don't you do roll call vote, because we know there's gonna be a split. I expect there will be a split.
I think. All right, you do the roll call?
President Valerie Reinfeller,
No.
Vice President Andrea DePillo,
No,
Councilmember Matt Castiglia,
No?
Councilmember Shirley Blair Fuller,
Yes.
Councilmember Deb Klein,
No,
Councilmember Greg Padonovich,
No.
Councilmember Brooke Burchett Williams.
Yes.
All right, so now we default back to the motion that was made initially, but I can't recall who made that motion to consent.
And there was a second, and there was discussion, and do we do a roll call vote on that?
I think we should probably do a roll call vote on that one. Okay.
So this is a motion to consent the Tricog Land Bank acquisition of 2290 William Penn Highway, Pittsburgh, PA 15235.
President Valerie Reinfeller,
Yes.
Vice President Andrea DePillo,
yes,
Councilmember Matt Castiglia,
Yes.
Councilmember Shirley Blair Fuller,
No.
Councilmember Deb Klein,
Yes.
Councilmember Greg Padonovich,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooke Burchett Williams.
No.
Thank you. And we'll move on to our second motion, number 12.
Madam President, motion to consent to the Tricog Land Bank's acquisition of 2292 William Penn Highway, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15235, lot/block 297-L-328.
second,
Any discussion?
I'll bring up the same point that I brought up for number 11. It's regarding the COG and the same process of acquiring the property.
We'll do a roll call vote on this one, too, please.
President Valerie Reinfeller,
Yes.
Vice President Andrea DePillo,
yes,
Councilmember Matt Castiglia,
Yes?
Councilmember Shirley Blair Fuller,
No.
Councilmember Deb Cassini Klein,
Yes.
Councilmember Greg Padonovich,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooke Burchett Williams.
No.
Thank you, and motion passes. We'll move on to our next motion.
Madam President, motion to authorize the settlement of all claims raised in the litigation filed at docket number GD/23-1045 and to direct the borough manager to execute all necessary settlement documents subject to review and approval by the borough solicitor and or insurance counsel.
Second?
Can we even have a discussion about this?
No, we should
Yeah.
not have a discussion.
That's what I thought.
I can generally say it relates to an insurance claim arising out of an automobile accident.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain. I did not participate in the executive session. I just got the information today.
All right, and we'll move on to our discussion items for staff and support team. And we'll start off with our borough engineer.
We did submit our engineer report. With that, the only thing I'd like to point out is that the road program was included in there, the pavement pay application for the paving program, and that did come in a good bit under budget just because the final area to be completed was limited and was reduced from the scope that was within post project. With that, at the last meeting of the month, we anticipate closing out all of the sewer contracts for the year, and we would have a recommendation for renewal of those contracts. So we would be able to avoid having to go out to rebid for the contract. That'll be on the agenda for next month.
Thank you. Participants here. Is Ralph on? I wasn't sure. No, okay. Ashley?
I would just like to say, take a look at the 2025 budget. We have our open house tomorrow night from 6 to 7:30. We encourage everyone to come out and take a look at our presentation.
Thank you.
From 6 to 7:30 tomorrow.
Yep.
Um,
Please attend if you're online and you want to learn about our budget and see all the inner workings of where money goes, come on by. It'll be a party.
Tell your neighbors. Please do though. Honestly, I think it's very important because it's so easy to see big numbers and not realize where things are going. And I think and ask questions. We want you to, that's how we're here for you guys.
Transparency.
Absolutely.
Michelle? Thank you. Gavin? All right. And all of the other reports are in the binder. We can move on to our committee. Does anybody want to speak about committee? We can start with, finance. Finance is good. We've been talking ad nauseam.
Please come tomorrow.
Public safety.
Yeah, I'll just mention, in our last meeting, we discussed a number of issues, mainly we were working with the chief and discussing the budget and the needs of the police department, so I think everything's on track with that. We've been having, Officer Lewandowski, got certified to do weights and measurements on commercial vehicles, so that's been very successful, the work that he's putting into that so far. Pulling over, commercial vehicles that are unsafe, and then ones that, are overweight, trying to go down, Beulah Road, where they're not supposed to, so we expect that enforcement to continue. And then the other thing we talked about is, in the codes, before Scott was out on family leave, he did mention, that we maybe wanted to take a look at the language of our parking ordinance and kind of what that entails. So the committee is going to be looking into that further. We'll report more as we dig into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Infrastructure.
Yeah, we met last month as well. One of the things we'd like to talk about is the sanitary sewage surcharge fee. Asking everyone to come out tomorrow to look at the budget and go over that and ways that residents can save money on that surcharge fee. Please come out again tomorrow to learn more on infrastructure updates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Communication.
Just a reminder to all of us, our deadline for articles for our next newsletter is at the end of the month, and our residents should be seeing the next newsletter around mid-January. And also a couple of holiday reminders. We have a few fun things going on. December 6th is our holiday party right here in our beautiful decorated chambers that we'll have. It's from 5 to 8, and that's December 6th. Santa will be making an appearance at 6:30, and then at 7 o'clock, our mayor will be lighting up our first real tree that we will be putting in the front of our borough building. this
And a
year.
top hat.
And a top hat, right?
And a sash.
You gotta get your top hat, right?
We got it.
But that's an open invitation to all our residents. We'll have some treats and who knows what, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. That's December 6th. The following week, December 13th, if you have a pet, a dog or a cat, and you'd like to get their picture taken with Santa, Santa will be back in the Yago room from 4 to 6, and you can sign up, Ashley, explain how you sign up.
Yes, you could call the borough, or you could send an email over to office@churchillborough.com.
Yeah. So that's the way to sign up, and you'll get a time slot that works for you and works for us. And then the following day, which is Saturday, December 14th, is our annual Santa Parade, and that will be from 10 to 1:30. Santa will be back again. He's a busy guy in Churchill this year. And, so, look for that. That's 10 to 1:30. Reminder that our leaf collection runs through December 5th, which is every Tuesday, but you must have biodegradable bags. So keep that in mind, and also remember, now that the getting cold, it's dark, just remember to check on your elderly neighbors or people who are living alone, because it's that time of year.
Thank you very much.
And then I just wanted to add, the pet photo with Santa is completely free.
Oh, yes, that's free. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I bring a rabbit? Can you bring a rabbit? I have a rabbit.
It's not a.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
It's a cut.
No, how about no real unusual? No snakes,
No.
no. Santa doesn't need to go. Bring a rabbit.
Climate action.
Climate action, nothing to report. Oh, actually, I do have one thing.
Yeah.
Michelle and I met with Sandy Fox, one of our residents, who's very interested in composting.
Oh.
And we're gonna be putting together a panel and sometime in the spring, and we're hoping, on Earth Day, we may have a workshop for people to learn how to compost, do's and don'ts, this and that. So, thank you to Sandy out there. I think it was a really good discussion, and, that, I guess that falls under climate action.
Yeah, that's great.
And also more beyond just composting, sustainability, all kinds of things, but Sandy's the one, that, we spoke to, and she's very eager, and she has a few women on Holland that are also eager to move forward with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Thank you, Sandy.
Mhm.
Kind of with climate action, the last leaf pickup will be December 3rd. So we won't have another meeting before that.
Education and school district.
The Woodland Hills School District has their agenda setting meeting on November 13th at 7 p.m. You can log. We have it on the YouTube channel, also through Zoom. If you do log on and you just see their logo, give it a few minutes. Sometimes they're in executive session. They may not start exactly at 7, but if you're interested in watching what's going on, please tune in. And then the following week, on November 20th at 7 p.m., the Woodland Hills School District will have their legislative meeting.
Thank you. Any other council members with comments?
Just
Yeah.
to be careful out there, the deer are running. I know the last couple nights they've ran out in front of me. Just be vigilant out there. I know a lot of our streets, they're on the darker side. Keep your headlights on, take it easy, don't fly. It's the middle of the rut, so the bucks are crazy. So just keep that in mind when you're out and about.
I'd like to thank Brooke for working with the Woodland Hills, she and Michelle. The postcards of the demolition of the Schaefer School have gone out along with the letters that came from council and to the residents in the area of the Schaefer School demolition. They did state that the building will be coming down sometime in January. They gave a good timeline on when the building will be coming down and their progress on, any remediations that are being done prior to the demolition of the building. Again, thank you, Brooke and Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say a couple things before we wrap up. Our Mayor, did you have something?
No, not really tonight. The only two things I really, want to acknowledge is the team that put together that budget. I know you guys have been working on it extremely hard for at least a couple months. I was sat with Michelle and Ashley, went over a whole bunch of things. I'm so proud of that budget, which way it goes. It's a lot of work, and also for the police contract. I'm glad to see that get taken care of.
Thank you. I wanted to do a little shout out to all my fellow council members. I think it was very evident in today's meeting. There's a lot that happens outside of these meetings. There's a lot of things in committee meetings and things are moving along outside of these meetings. So while you may only see this, a lot of things do happen, and we try to do a good job of sharing all of the things that we are doing by submitting reports to one another and talking about it here. So I just wanted to say thank you to all for all of your hard work and dedication that you all pour your heart and soul into making this community the best community ever. So thank you. I appreciate you all.
I have one concern.
Yeah.
I noticed at the front of our building, you know how we decorated it?
Yeah.
Things for Halloween?
Yeah.
I think there's a pumpkin missing on Scott. I don't know.
Are people taking pumpkins?
I don't know, but there's a pumpkin missing. Okay.
We'll have to-
It's just a random observation of mine,
Okay.
because we strategically put the pumpkins a certain way.
Oh, that's not very nice.
I know.
Come up and
They
get
should
pumpkins.
do that.
Yeah, that's not okay. Not okay.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Okay.
That's all. All right.
Thank you. If that is it, we will adjourn. 7:44. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thanks, everyone.